The rights and privileges of teachers in the Philippines.
Everyone, our report for today was all about the Magna Carta for public school teachers. So, Magna Carta for public school teachers is a law in the Philippines that provides specific rights and benefits for public school teachers. It outlines the rights and the responsibilities of teachers, including provisions for their professional growth, welfare, and protection. So, the section 1 is the Declaration of Policy. It emphasizes the importance of promoting and improving the social and economic status of public school teachers, enhancing their living and working conditions, terms of employment, and career prospects. The goal is to make teaching a profession that compares favorably with other opportunities, attracting and retaining qualified individuals in the field. It recognizes that the quality of education depends on the qualifications and abilities of the teaching staff and highlights education as a crucial factor in the economic growth of the nation, representing a significant investment. Section 2. Title Definition. The definition of teacher as stated in the Magna Carta for public school teachers includes various rules involved in education such as classroom teachers, guidance counselors, school librarians, and administrative staff in government-operated educational institutions. 3. Recruitment and qualification. This act, as a selection and appointment of teachers, shall be clearly defined by the Department of Education. For example, for teachers in kindergarten and elementary grades, the teachers must be a bachelor's degree in elementary education. And the other example is teachers for college level courses other than vocational, they must be a master's degree with a specific area of specialization. These qualifications are set as minimum requirements for teacher applicants and the recruitment policy with respect to the selection and appointment of teachers. It is important for teacher applicants to meet these educational qualifications to be considered for teaching positions in the respective levels and fields mentioned. Section 4. Probationary period. It occurs at the beginning of a new hire's employment, during which the employer evaluates the individual's performance and suitability for the position. However, if a person lacks the appropriate eligibility but meets the minimum educational qualifications required for the position, they may be appointed on a provisional status and undergo a probationary period due to the exigencies of the service. During this probationary period, the individual's performance and suitability for the position are typically evaluated before a regular appointment is made. Section 5. Tenure of office. This section of the law or policy states that teachers who are appointed on provisional permanent status due to the lack of necessary civil service eligibility may be granted a regular appointment for the position they are holding after completing at least 10 years of continuous, efficient, and faithful service in that position. This provision seems to outline a pathway for teachers who initially lack the required civil service eligibility but have demonstrated their dedication and competence through a period of service to be considered for regular appointment after a specified period of time. Section 6. Consent for transfer transportation expenses. This section of the law or policy addresses the issue of teacher transfers. It states that, unless otherwise provided, no teacher shall be transferred from one station to another without their consent. However, in cases where the needs of the service require a teacher to be transferred, the school superintendent can effect the transfer after notifying the teacher of the reasons for the transfer. If the teacher disagrees with the transfer and believes there is no justification for it, they have the right to appeal to the Director of Public Schools or the Director of Vocational Education. Furthermore, if the teacher's transfer is ultimately approved, the government will cover the necessary transfer expenses for the teacher and their family. This provision ensures that teachers are treated fairly and have a process to challenge transfers that they believe are unjustified. Section 7. Code of Professional Conduct for Teachers. This section of the law mandates the Secretary of Education to develop a code of professional conduct for public school teachers within 6 months of the approval of the Act. The code is intended to establish guidelines and standards of behavior for teachers in the public school system. Each teacher is to be provided with a copy of the code. In cases where it is not feasible to provide each teacher with a copy due to budget constraints within the Department of Education, at least 3 copies of the code should be made available at the office of the school principal or head teacher. This ensures that teachers have access to the Code of Professional Conduct and are aware of the unexpected standards of professionalism and behavior in their roles as educators. Section 8. Safeguards and Disciplinary Procedure. This section of the law outlines safeguards in the disciplinary procedure for teachers. It ensures that teachers are treated fairly and have certain rights protected during any disciplinary process. The key safeguards include the right to be informed in writing of the charges, the right to full access to the evidence in the case, the right to appeal to clearly designated authorities. Additionally, it is specified that no publicity should be given to any disciplinary action being taken against a teacher while the case is pending. This provision aims to protect the teacher's reputation and privacy during the disciplinary process. Section 9. Administrative Charges. This section of the law outlines the procedure for handling administrative charges against a teacher. The key points include: administrative charges against a teacher will be initially heard by a committee consisting of the school superintendent of the division or a duly authorized representative with at least the rank of a division supervisor as the chairman. The committee will also include a representative from the local or, if unavailable, any existing provincial or national teachers organization and a supervisor of the division, both designated by the Director of Public Schools. The committee is responsible for conducting hearings, gathering evidence, and making findings and recommendations within 30 days of the conclusion of the hearings. If the school superintendent is the complainant or has a vested interest in the case, all committee members will be appointed by the Secretary of Education to ensure impartiality and fairness in the proceedings. This process ensures that administrative charges against teachers are handled in a transparent and fair manner, with appropriate representation and oversight to protect the rights of the teachers involved. Section 10. No discrimination. This section of the law emphasizes the principle of non-discrimination in the teaching profession. It states that there should be no discrimination at any stage, including entrance to the profession during the exercise of teaching or in the termination of services, based on factors other than professional considerations. This provision aims to ensure that individuals are not unfairly treated or excluded from the teaching profession or subjected to discriminatory practices based on irrelevant criteria such as race, gender, religion, ethnicity, or any other personal characteristic that is not related to their professional qualifications or performance as a teacher. The focus is on promoting equality of opportunity and fair treatment for all individuals in the teaching profession. Section 11. Married Teachers. This section of the law addresses the employment of married couples who are both public school teachers. It states that the proper authority should make every effort to facilitate the employment of married couples in the same locality whenever possible. The provision recognizes the importance of supporting married couples who are both educators by allowing them to work in close proximity to each other. This can help promote family stability, convenience, and work-life balance for married teachers. By enabling both spouses to work in the same locality, it can also contribute to the well-being of the teachers and their families. Section 12. Academic Freedom. This statement emphasizes the principle of academic freedom for teachers in the discharge of their professional duties, especially concerning teaching and classroom methods. Academic freedom grants teachers the autonomy and independence to explore, discuss, and present information and ideas relevant to their subject matter without undue interference or censorship. Teachers should have the freedom to choose appropriate teaching methods, materials, and approaches that they believe will best facilitate learning and academic growth among their students. This freedom allows educators to engage in critical thinking, intellectual inquiry, and creative expression within the educational setting, fostering a dynamic and enriching learning environment.
Article 3. Hours of work and remuneration. It is on the amount of time teachers are expected to work and how they should be compensated for their efforts. The purpose of these sections is to ensure fair treatment and acknowledge of the time and effort teachers invest in their profession. Section 13. Teaching hours. It stated that teachers are only required not more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. However, if teachers may be required to render more than 6 hours but not exceeding 8 hours of actual classroom teaching a day, upon payment of additional compensation, some rate as his regular remuneration, plus at least 25% of his basic pay. In this section, it highlighted the fairness and transparency, work-life balance, and respect for teachers' time. Section 14. Additional compensation. We all know that teachers are not only merely exposed in classroom work setting. There are co-curricular and out-of-school activities and any other activities outside of what is defined as normal duties of any teacher, and shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of his regular remuneration after a teacher completed at least 6 hours of actual classroom teaching. Like for example, during the election period, teachers were asked to render their service to facilitate during voting, counting of votes, and more. In that certain activity, teachers were given additional compensation by the agencies utilizing teachers' services. Section 15. Criteria for salaries. If in pageant or in any competitions, there is a criteria for judging. Of course, in teacher salaries, it is also applicable. The criteria for teacher salaries is to meet the standards of teachers in terms of their education and experience, performance, equity, and fairness. By incorporating these criteria, teacher salary structures aim to attract and retain talented educators, recognize their expertise, and contribution and promotes the delivery of high-quality education for students. Section 16. Salary scale. It is a gradual progression from a minimum to a maximum salary by means of regular increment. It is granted automatically after 3 years, and if the efficiency rating of the teacher concerned is at least satisfactory. Salary scale of a teacher have different salary levels or steps, with each step representing an increment of pay. This is the salary grade and monthly salary of public school teachers during year 2023. Section 17. Equality in salary scales. It refers to the principle that all teachers should be compensated fairly and equitably based on objective criteria. In this section, emphasizes the importance of ensuring that salary scales are free from bias and discrimination and that all teachers receive equal pay for equal work. Section 18. Cost of living allowance. The teacher's salaries will also consider the cost of living, especially it is influenced by inflation, changes in consumer prices, and fluctuations in currency values, among other factors. Adjusting salaries or allowances ensures that individuals can afford. Of course, when the price of goods, gasoline, and other basic needs will increase its price, teachers' salary should increase too, so that it will help align salaries with the actual expenses associated with living in a particular area. Section 19. The Special Hardship Allowances. These certain allowances were given to the teachers exposed in a far-flung area, where difficulty in commuting to the place of work or other hazard peculiar to the place of employment. Special hardship allowance serve the important purpose of the acknowledging and supporting teachers who work in a very challenging environment. Section 20. Salaries to be paid in legal tender. This section stipulates that the salaries of teachers must be paid in the legal currency of the Philippine, which is the Philippine peso. The essence of this is to ensure that teachers receive their salaries in a form that is readily available or usable and accessible whether in cash or through authorized financial institutions like the Land Bank. Section 21. Deduction prohibited. No person shall make any deduction whatsoever from the salaries of teacher, except under specific authority of law authorizing such deductions. This section is essential for protecting their income, promoting fairness and equity, complying with the labor laws, honoring contractual agreements, upholding professional dignity, and maintaining public trust and confidence in education system. Article 4. The health measures and injury benefits. In the context of Teachers' Code of Ethics, health measures and injury benefits refers to the provision and support system put in place to safeguard the physical well-being of teachers and to provide assistance in the event of work-related injuries or illnesses. Section 22. Medical examination and treatment. It is a compulsory medical examination provided to teachers, provided free of charge for all before they take up teaching. And in regions where the scarcity of medical facilities, teachers may obtain elsewhere the necessary medical care with the right to be reimbursed for their traveling expenses by the government. The purpose of this is to ensure the health and safety, prevent spread of illness, and of course, to address immediate if a teacher has a health issues. Section 23. Compensation for injuries. Teachers who suffer work-related injuries or illnesses are often entitled to workers' compensation benefits. Just like, for example, a teacher were traveling to his workplace and encounter accidents in a motorcycle that he is riding. Then he will compensated with medical expenses, wage replacement, vocational rehabilitation services to help the teacher return to work and whatsoever. Next is the Article 5, Leave and Retirement Benefits. Leave and retirement benefits are integral component of the compensation package offered to teachers, playing a crucial role in supporting their well-being throughout their careers and into retirement. It provides financial security, promote work-life balance, and recognize the dedication and service of educators in the educational system. Next is Section 24, Study Leave. Teachers shall be entitled to study leave not exceeding 1 school year after 7 years of his service. One of the examples of this is when a teacher wants to earn his master's degree. Then, he can use his study leave and they are excused from the regular duties or classes to attend. But, study leave of more than 1 year may be permitted by the Secretary of Education but without compensation. Section 25. The indefinite leave. This kind of leave refers to the period of time off from work because of illness that needs longer treatment or other responsibilities that does not have a defined end date. It could only granted for various reasons, such as personal, health, or other circumstances that require an extended break. Next is Section 26, Salary Increase upon Retirement. It is a salary increase upon retirement refers to a situation where teachers' salary is adjusted upward before they retire, often boost their pension or retirement benefit. And of course, it will increase may be based on various factors such as years of service, fulfilled age, and service requirements of the applicable retirement laws shall be given.
Section 27. Freedom to organize. This provision affirms the freedom of public school teachers to organize and join organizations of their choice, whether at the local or national level, without requiring prior authorization. Teachers have the right to form or join associations that aim to advance and protect their interests, such as professional development, advocacy, or for better working conditions or collective bargaining. By recognizing teachers' freedom to organize, this provision supports their ability to collectively voice their concerns, negotiate for improved working conditions, and collaborate on matters that affect their profession. It empowers teachers to engage in collective action and solidarity to address common issues and work towards enhancing the quality of education and the welfare of educators. Section 28. Discrimination against teachers prohibited. This section of the law prohibits discrimination against teachers and outlines specific actions that are considered unlawful in relation to the teacher's rights to organize. The key points include: first, it is unlawful to condition a teacher's employment on the requirement that they do not join or must give up membership in an organization. Second, discrimination against a teacher based on their membership in an organization or participation in organization activities, whether outside school hours or with school authorities' consent during school hours, is prohibited. This includes actions that could lead to dismissal or prejudice against the teacher. Third, teachers should not be prevented from fulfilling their organizational duties or penalized for actions taken in their capacity within the organization. These provisions aim to protect teachers from discrimination and ensure that they can exercise their rights to organize freely without facing interference, coercion, or adverse consequences related to their organizational affiliations or activities. Section 29. National Teachers Organizations. This section of the law highlights the importance of consulting national teachers' organization in various aspects of education and teacher welfare. The key points include: first, national teachers' organizations should be consulted in the development of national educational policies and professional standards. This ensures that the perspectives and insights of teachers are considered in shaping the direction of education at the national level. Second, these organizations should also be involved in the formulation of national policies related to the social security of teachers. This involvement helps to address the welfare and well-being of teachers, including issues such as benefits, insurance, and other social security provisions. By involving national teachers' organizations in policy-making processes, the law recognizes the valuable contributions and expertise that teachers can offer in shaping education policies and ensuring the welfare of educators. This collaboration helps to promote a more inclusive and participatory approach to decision making in the education sector. Section 30. Rules and Regulation. This section of the law grants the Secretary of Education the authority to create and establish the rules and regulations needed to enforce the provisions outlined in the Act. The key points include: first, the Secretary of Education is responsible for formulating and preparing the necessary rules and regulations to implement the Act effectively. Second, rules and regulation issued under this section will come into effect 30 days after being published in a newspaper of general circulation and through other means deemed appropriate by the Secretary of Education to ensure that interested parties are adequately informed of the issuance. By providing the Secretary of Education with the power to develop rules and regulations, this section aims to ensure the proper implementation and enforcement of the Act's provision. It establishes a framework for guiding the application of the law and promoting transparency and compliance within the education sector. Section 31. Budgetary Estimates. This section of the law mandates that the Secretary of Education must present to Congress each year the required budget estimates to fund the benefits provided to public school teachers employed by the national government as outlined in the Act. By submitting these budgetary estimates to Congress, the Secretary of Education ensures that the necessary financial resources are allocated to support the benefits and provisions granted to public school teachers under the Act. This process helps to secure the funding needed to implement the Act effectively and to fulfill the commitments made to support and enhance the welfare of public school teachers. Section 32. Penal Provision. This section of the law establishes a penal provision to address any willful interference, restraint, coercion, or other actions that aim to undermine the rights granted to teachers by the Act. The key points are include: first, any individual who intentionally interferes with, restrains, or coerces a teacher in exercising their rights under the Act or takes actions to defeat any provision of the Act may face penalties upon conviction. Second, the penalties for such offenses may include a fine ranging from 100 pesos to 1,000 pesos or imprisonment at the discretion of the court. Third, if the offender is a public official, the court has the authority to order their dismissal from the government service in addition to any other penalties imposed. This provision serves to protect teachers from undue influence, coercion, or actions that violate their rights as outlined in the Act. It establishes consequences for individuals, including public officials, who engage in activities that undermine the rights and protections afforded to teachers under the law. Section 33. Repealing Clause. This section of the law contains a repealing clause which states that any existing acts or parts of acts, executive orders, and their implementing rules that are inconsistent with the provisions of the current act are repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. The purpose of this clause is to ensure that there is consistency and alignment between the new act and any previous legislation or regulations that may conflict with its provisions. By repealing, amending, or modifying any conflicting laws or rules, this clause helps to streamline the legal framework and avoid contradictions or discrepancies in the implementation of the act. Section 34. Separability Clause. This section of the law contains a separability clause which states that any provision of the Act is declared invalid. The rest of the Act or any provisions not affected by the invalidity shall remain in force and effective. The purpose of the separability clause is to ensure that if a particular provision of the Act is found to be invalid or unconstitutional, it does not invalidate the entire Act. Instead, the remaining provisions of the Act that are valid and not affected by the invalidity of the specific provision will continue to be enforced and upheld. This clause helps to maintain the integrity and effectiveness of the Act even if certain provisions are deemed invalid.
Rights and privileges are integral in ensuring the fair and just treatment of educators and upholding the standards of the teaching profession. It is essential for recognizing the contributions, promoting professionalism, attracting and retaining talent, ensuring quality education, promoting fair treatment, and preserving institutional knowledge within the educational sector.